Hello everyone and welcome back to Lindsay Unfiltered. And today we will be diving into Diddy's luxurious bail package. It's been updated several times because P. Diddy has been denied for bail not once, not twice, but a third time. Do you think P. Diddy deserved bail? Why or why not? That is the cornerstone of this video. Do you think P. Diddy deserves bail? Now I'm going to look at the bail package and the reasons that his lawyers believe he should have bail. We're going to read them together and we're going to analyze them. At the end of it, I want you guys to drop a comment down below and tell me, do you think he deserves bail? If you like videos like this that revolve around scandal, true crime, controversy with a twist of humor, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Okay guys, without further ado, let's pull up the document of P. Diddy's most updated bail release package. I'm going to read the introduction and we're going to analyze that. We'll also be analyzing the stipulations of the bail relief package. So without further ado, let's read and analyze, guys. Introduction. Mr. Sean Combs, through his counsel, renews his motion for release pending trial. This renewed motion is based on a significantly updated proposed bail package, new evidence, as well as changed circumstances regarding Mr. Combs' ability to prepare for trial while detained. First, Mr. Combs proposes an updated bail package that is far more robust than the previous proposal, as well as other bail packages routinely approved by courts in the circuit. The proposed package even surpasses a bail package recently requested by the government in a comparable case in a neighboring district. The updated proposed conditions, which include home detention with a strict 24/7 monitoring arrangement and near total restrictions on Mr. Combs' ability to contact individuals other than counsel, will reasonably assure the appearance of Mr. Combs as required and the safety of any other person in the community. Here's my take on this. If you have to offer the government, the state, $50 million and they say it's not enough, I believe you are where you need to be, right? $50 million and all kinds of other things that we'll read in this bail package. It seems more like a bribe than anything else. You can't bribe the government. And that's what it looks like to me. We'll get into that though. Second, new evidence received in discovery from the government undermines the primary basis on which the government initially sought and Judge Carter ordered detention. The evidence makes clear that the government's case is thin. It confirms the defense's initial description of the events depicted in the March 2016 video recording. The video is not evidence of a coerced freak-off, but rather a minutes-long glimpse into a complex but decade-long consensual relationship between Mr. Combs and victim one. Okay. Why did they put consensual in italics? Like, they had to stress the fact that the relationship was consensual? Like, I'm not understanding. The public knows it was a consensual relationship. They were together for 10 years? But things within the relationship may have been not so consensual. You have to realize that, okay? Additionally, the new evidence refutes the government's proffer at the initial hearing regarding a potential alleged second victim. And the new evidence confirms that the government's obstruction and witness tampering allegations at the initial bail hearings lacked a factual basis. Third, Mr. Combs' current conditions of confinement infringe his constitutional rights to participate in his defense. So you mean to tell me Diddy being locked up for evidence that they found that infringes on his constitutional rights? Given the government's amended estimate of the amount of discovery in this case and its unique format, including lots of video and photographic evidence, Mr. Combs' release on the proposed conditions is necessary so that he can review the discovery and prepare for trial. Despite the MDC's best efforts to facilitate the defense team's needs, the current arrangement makes trial preparation possible, as evidenced by the recent multi-agency sweep of the facility and resulting lockdown. The Bail Reform Act and the Constitution demand more. Accordingly, Mr. Combs moves to reopen the prior detention decision and requests release on the proposed updated conditions detailed herein. Okay, now we're going to read the conditions. So we're back with a quick wardrobe change. I recorded the second part of this video and the entire thing was recorded to the wrong microphone. So we're going to read the proposed updated conditions of Diddy's release. The proposed updated conditions of release are sufficient. The defense proposes the following updated bail package, which will assuage any concerns of danger and obstruction and will ensure Mr. Combs' appearance in court. A $50 million bond co-signed by Mr. Combs, his mother, his sister, the mother of his oldest daughter, the mother of his youngest daughter, and his 3 adult sons. In my humble, unfiltered opinion, if you have to offer somebody $50 million worth of bond to release you from jail, then you need to be in jail, okay? It seems like a bribery. It seems like, hey, look, I'm going to give you $50 million. Let me go for just a little bit so I can try to get things going in my favor. I've never, ever heard of someone offering a bail package this extensive. And while they may think it's going to get us off, it looks suspicious to me, because if you need to offer $50 million and they tell you no 3 times, you need to be there, in my humble opinion. Okay, and B here says it's secured by the equity in Mr. Combs' residence located in Miami, Florida, and unencumbered property appraised at about $48 million. Now, I believe this is Gloria Esteban's old house that Diddy purchased on Star Island. He's trying to ensure his release with the equity of that home and further secure the equity of his mother's home in Miami, right? 2, they said that Diddy would have full home detention at his residence in Miami or at a suitable location in New York with GPS monitoring. Now, the judge shot down the Miami thing because there's a dock, there's a lot of water, and Diddy has boats or can find a boat. Okay, that's an easy way to flee the country and never look back, right? Counsel will travel to this location for any in-person meetings with Mr. Combs or have counsel meetings via video. To the extent Mr. Combs' travel is necessary to attend court-approved or pre-approved medical appointments, his travel will be restricted to the southern and eastern districts of New York and the southern district of Florida. Mr. Combs must pay all or part of the cost of location monitoring. Here it says 24/7 monitoring by qualified security personnel approved by the government in pretrial services. So when we look at 24/7 monitoring, who is going to be monitoring Diddy for 24 hours a day? Do you guys know that Diddy has connections to security personnels? He's in with the security personnels because he's used them. He's a celebrity. So it's very easy to go find someone that's worked for you in the past and make money move. And those security personnel will go from 24 hours a day to 30 minutes a day. Okay, it's very easy to do that, especially when Diddy's been behind bars doing that, right? Mr. Combs will have no access to telephones or the internet except for during calls with counsel to be arranged by security personnel. This one's an issue for me because Diddy literally had access to phones in jail, calling his son, daughters, with the happy birthday campaign. Diddy has access to phones. So for you to say he's going to get out and have no access to phones when he has access on the inside is quite triggering for me. Criminals who aren't millionaires have access to phones. They find a way to get them in. Go look at TikTok. There's a ton of inmates on TikTok enjoying their time on TikTok, sharing their culinary creations and all of this. What makes you think Diddy can't do that outside of jail? Restrict all visitors except for counsel and a pre-approved list consisting of only specific family members with the consent of pretrial services in the government. 5 is an issue for me because specific family members, like whom? Your family members are in your favor. Your family members are going to do your bidding because they don't want to see their family member go to jail. So if we have visitors coming in, who's to know what those conversations are going to be like? Who's to know what Diddy is going to have them do for him on the outside. Family visits will be scheduled only pretrial services prior approval, and security personnel will monitor these family visits. The security personnel that Diddy's paying for that has a nice front. It's a good security agency. It's going to do the bidding of the government, but Diddy is paying them. So these family visits with these specific family members that are monitored won't necessarily be monitored, in my opinion, okay? Mr. Combs shall avoid all contact, directly or indirectly, with any person who is or may be a victim or witness in the investigation or prosecution. This, for me, is also an issue because Diddy has already been in contact directly or indirectly with people that are a witness to this investigation or prosecution. So is letting him out of jail really going to stop all of that? Mr. Combs will consent to provide pretrial services random access to the residence. Mr. Combs' passport was surrendered to his counsel on April 1st, 2024, which counsel will provide to pretrial services. You don't need a passport when you own planes, boats, trains, and goats, okay? The passport thing is not big to me, okay? And another thing they say here is the following family members have also already surrendered their passports to counsel, who will provide them to pretrial services. Janice Combs, Chance Combs, Jesse Combs, and Delilah Combs. Where are the sons in this? The sons still keep their passports? Why is that? To do their father's bidding? Who knows? But in my opinion, I'm not a judge, I'm not a legal analyst, I'm not a lawyer, but in my opinion, the judge is not stupid, okay? The judge knows and has been through this time after time after time, okay? So when you leave certain family members out, what is that saying to me? It's saying that the family members that you didn't leave out may have to use those passports, okay? Counsel will continue efforts to sell his airplane. Like, oh, we got it up on eBay right now, but we're gonna really push that if you let him out. The defendant shall submit to testing for a prohibited substance if required by the pretrial services office or supervising officer. Testing may be used with a random frequency and may include urine testing, the wearing of a sweat patch, or a remote alcohol testing system, or any form of prohibited substance screening or testing. The defendant must not obstruct, attempt to obstruct, or tamper with the efficiency and accuracy of prohibited substance screening or testing. Do you know how easy it is to pass the drug test if no one's watching you, even if someone is watching you? There are systems in place. There are things in place for people to pass these tests, right? Unless somebody's literally looking at you when it comes out, there are systems in place. There's detoxes in place, right? Mr. Combs must participate in a program or counseling if directed by the pretrial services office or supervising officer. All other standard conditions of pretrial release. Additionally, for the avoidance of any doubt, as stated during the September 18th, 2024 hearing, if Your Honor wants something more different, we can do whatever Your Honor thinks is necessary regarding release conditions. The proposed conditions present an extremely substantial, comprehensive bail package. It does, for any defendant, and are plainly sufficient to warrant pretrial release under 18 U.S.C. 3142. For example, the Second Circuit affirmed the release on similar but far less restrictive conditions of a defendant charged in multiple counts, including trafficking, arms, and other related offenses in United States versus Fox. It's just one of the many cases concluding that such conditions are adequate. United States versus Williams is another court case that they refer to. Also, indeed, the government recently successfully requested pretrial release for two similarly situated defendants, including a CEO accused of trafficking dozens of men, including through witness intimidation. See United States versus Jeffries. In Jeffries, the government sought release despite claiming the defendants relied on services of a security company to surveil and intimidate witnesses, thereby securing their silence. Okay, Diddy should be released from jail because Jeffries was released from jail and his security company intimidated people. So if Jeffries intimidated people, why can't Diddy intimidate people and get out of jail? They continue to compare the conditions of release with Jeffrey. It says there the government requested bonds of $10 million and $500,000 respectfully for the two released defendants and released to home detention with GPS monitoring, right? The thing that is significantly different from Jeffries and Combs is that the government came to a consensus of $10 million with Jeffries. Diddy already laid out on the table what he will do. In my opinion, that makes you look a lot more suspicious than if you just go with the flow, sit in jail, and don't do the fucking most, right? Which Diddy has done. So I stand behind the court's decision to keep P. Diddy in jail only because, like, when you have the amount of money, influence, and power that Diddy has, right? I've never heard of this Mike Jeffries guy, right? He's a background CEO. Power, influence, and money that Diddy has to get things done in a snap of a finger, in a blink of an eye. And we know he will take those measures to protect himself. The victims are not safe, right? I don't think it's more of a fleeing thing for him. I think it's more of a let me get to those victims so they don't speak. They don't speak. The feds have no case, right? And he will do that. He is probably doing that right now. Okay. So that's where I stand on it. I want to know where you guys stand on it. Do you think that Diddy should have gotten bail to prepare for trial? We all know how that preparation would have looked, in my opinion, allegedly, right? I want to know you guys' opinions. You know, some people say innocent until proven guilty. Yes, but if you pose a significant threat to the community or the investigation, there's no getting out, right? Going over that information, I want to know from you guys. Do you think Diddy's going to try to appeal again? And do you think he deserves that chance to leave the prison to prepare for his trial? If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. This has been Lindsay Unfiltered. I hope you all have a wonderful, magnificent, brilliant, beautiful day. Bye now.